It's now time to preview Sunday's Premier League games. Two massive, massive games. Joining me is Flav from The Fighting Cock, Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV, and Sam from United People's TV. We start with Spurs versus Swansea at White Hart Lane. Massive, massive game. No?
It's all right.
Feeling relaxed?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, Swansea, innit?
So, at the close of play on Sunday,
Yeah.
Spurs could be top of the league.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Do you think they'll be top of the league?
I can't see Leicester losing to Norwich, and I can't really see. It's 50-50 between Arsenal and United, in my opinion. So maybe not, but we'll be in with a shout because I think we will beat Swansea.
This is a tricky one because I guess you've lost last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lost last week.
And maybe an Arsenal fan or someone who didn't think Spurs were going to win the league, they might feel like this is where the wheels come off.
Yeah, because I listen, Swansea are going to be fresher than Spurs. Of course, Spurs obviously have had to play in the Europa League. And that's why the only reason I sort of give a bit of hope to Swansea. And also they're fighting for their lives. And it's one of them games that this is when we start to get to that stage of the season where...
You've been waiting for this stage of the season.
Yeah, because what happens is these games not just even for Spurs, but even for us, for Leicester, you know, you have games that everybody looks at and says, no problem, easy game. But you're up against teams that are fighting for their lives. And I don't think Swansea will win the game, but it's one of those games where when you're catching a team that's just had to play midweek, where you could see a draw happening. And that's, you know, and a draw at this stage is almost like you've lost sometimes. So,
we asked you guys actually who's going to be top of the table by the close of play on Sunday. 73% said Leicester City, so I think they're going to maybe get that
they've
one.
They've got a pretty easy game, haven't they?
40% said Tottenham, 30% said Arsenal. So
you like being written off, man?
The people have spoken, man.
Does that suit?
The people have spoken.
Earlier in the season, it was a 2-2 draw. That's actually what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be a 2-2 draw again. You've gone for Spurs. Why is that?
I just look at Spurs' team and I see a lot more quality throughout it than I do for Swansea. Yes, you've got Spurs who are coming off the back of a loss of Palace, and yes, they've got the Europa League, but they've genuinely got one of the best squads in the league in terms of, I think City's probably got the best squad in terms of overall depth. But Spurs can drop players. You don't think so?
No, I don't. I think Arsenal got a better squad than City.
I'm not talking about Arsenal. Right, back to Spurs.
No,
Swansea.
you just said in the league. We are in the league, you know. We are in the league. I think we got a better squad.
That's subjective.
It's about Spurs, though, isn't it? Spurs and Swansea.
Yeah. Well done, Flav. Let's get back to that.
Talking of squads, we saw how good their squad was last week against Crystal Palace. They got beat.
It's a game that we could have easily won. It swings and roundabouts. Game of margins, game of inches.
I thought Spurs never.
If we're being honest there,
the way I've been hearing
Arsenal
it,
got a draw.
The way I've been
against
hearing
Hull.
it, no, but
So-
the way I've been hearing it recently on this show is like Spurs like they're unbeatable. You know what I mean? They never lose. They lost last
I
week.
do get a little bit cocky at times.
Credible squad. That squad they lost.
Robbie, I admit I do get a bit cocky, but that squad is still it's still very strong.
Sigurdsson, what do you think about him?
I love him.
Good player.
I love him, and I'm really sad that he left. But it was a time when we signed Eriksen. He's a number 10. He can play out wide, but through the middle is where he should be playing. And
he's probably their biggest threat.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm concerned that he's playing and think that he could pose problems. But if we have Dyer and Alderweireld in that team, his chances will be stifled.
Don't give him a set piece though, because I'd say he's better than Eriksen on set pieces.
Yeah, probably. Eriksen's got 2, and the only 2 were against Swansea last time we played them, 2 free kicks. So Eriksen needs to work on his set pieces.
Finally, your score prediction for this one?
I think we're going to sneak it 1-0.
We're going to sneak it 1-0. Okay, let's move on to Man United versus Arsenal. Probably the biggest game of the weekend. Sorry about that, Flav. 5th versus 3rd. We asked you what you thought about the game. 60% said Arsenal are going to win this one. Happy with that, Robbie?
I'm only happy with the result at the end of it. I mean, but yeah.
You won the poll, though. So
You won a poll. We win all polls anyway.
Exactly.
You always win polls, you know what I mean?
So what I want to ask you, Robbie, is how do you feel about Arsenal at the moment? Because I get the feeling Arsenal fans are struggling to figure out where to sort of place their expectations on this team. Because some people are getting really angry about the Barcelona defeat. Some people going, look, we tried our best. That's a great team. How do you see it?
I think we tried our best. They're a better team than us. Simple as that. We
Is
played.
that not good enough if you're not at home in a Champions League tie winning that game, or do you just go, look, this is different, this is Barcelona?
Listen, I want to win every game, right? And I thought we played I was upset in the manner in which we lost because I felt that we played so well for 70 minutes and just we switched off for 2 moments and we've lost the game. But I'm angry that we weren't able to stay focused for that whole 90 minutes because that's the only chance you've got against Barcelona. But when I look at it realistically, Barcelona are a far better team than us. They are the best team, them and Bayern Munich, those two. They're the best standout teams, best teams in the world. So to be able to beat those teams, we need more quality. We need to bring in some, I feel we have a good enough squad to win the Premier League and to challenge for the Premier League. But to win the Champions League, our current squad is not good enough to win the Champions League. And if I'm being realistic, I look on it like that, then we did okay, but we've fallen short as expected. But as regards the league, I still think we got a great chance of winning the league. With the game against Man United coming up, what really I was happy to see the other night was Danny Welbeck come on. That's 2 games in a row now where he's looked very sharp. Yeah. He's looking really, really sharp. And going back to Man United, he's going to be really fired up. He's going to be pretty fresh as well because of the amount of time he's been out. And I'd be keen to start with him because I think he can do damage to Man United's defence. So anytime we play Man United, no matter what state United have been in this season, it's going to be a tough game because they're going to raise their game for that. But we've got a great chance.
What will have a greater effect? Losing in midweek or the result against Man United earlier in the season? When these Arsenal players are going into this game, which one will override, do you think?
I just think the players are probably going to look on it and say, listen, that was Barcelona. That's the best team in the world. The performance was good. I don't, even fans of other clubs, right, that normally when we have a defeat, they'll come onto my Twitter account and they'll give me loads of grief. I could see by the tone of the grief I was getting that they accepted that Arsenal played all right in that game and they didn't get embarrassed or hammered.
70 minutes you're in it, yeah.
I think the players will look on this game and say, well, that was Barcelona. This is Man United. It's a completely different game. We need to get back on track, get back focused. And I don't think that game is going to have any effect on the performance going into... because if we would have got absolutely smashed, humiliated, played off the park, it might have done. But because that didn't happen, I think there's still a lot to hold on to and say, right, you know what, we did all right. Let's go now and get back on track in the league. And that's what I think the attitude will be.
I'm sure Arsenal fans will all be hoping that it goes the way that it did earlier in the season. How do you reverse what happened on that day, losing 3-0 like that?
That was a real humiliation at the Emirates. It really was. Like, we were 3-0 down within 20 minutes, and then from then on, Arsenal just kicked it back into third gear and just sat there and played out the 70 minutes. And United had no response. We had Schweinsteiger chasing Ramsey around. He hasn't got the legs for it. Obviously, this game, we're going into it, I think we've got 16 injuries now. The United season is just falling apart bit by bit by bit. And Sunday is an opportunity for it to have a little mini renaissance towards the end. Lose this, we're going to be, I think, potentially 9 points behind fourth. Win this, City don't play this weekend, we'll then be 3 points behind them. You can start chasing it up. But
you talk about the doom and gloom, but you've got a Man United win here. So how are they going to do that?
United have still got quality in that squad. Yeah, we've got like 16 odd injuries, but you've still got Martial, you've still got Schneiderlin. There are players dotted in between. I think Arsenal are going to have a stronger starting 11 because our back five, I have no idea who's going to play. Probably going to have Romero in goal. I think Smalling's injured. So you get our crutual players that have done well this season.
And playing at home, is that a benefit or not with the sort of discomfort?
Well, if you look at United this season, I think it went 12 games that we didn't score in the first half at Old Trafford consecutively. So Old Trafford's been a bit of it's not the fortress it once was. It hasn't been for a few years. I don't really think we have an advantage home or away anymore. We're just kind of like Jekyll and Hyde. It's like you don't really know who's going to turn up. Yeah. But I'm pretty confident that a team will turn up against Arsenal, hopefully. Actually physically turn up, but
you're confident you've got enough players to put out there. Right. Yeah. And you are available if they need you. Yeah.
Yeah, Louis, if you need a striker.
One thing we asked you guys as well is, so if they do lose this game, should LVG be sacked? 61% said yes. Do you agree with that?
Louis van Gaal should have been sacked in December, and he wasn't. So I don't see now how losing to Arsenal is going to all of a sudden change
Make a
that.
difference, yeah.
I think the boat has sailed for Louis van Gaal to go before the end of the season. I think he's here to the end of the season. I think Jose Mourinho is going to come in.
Okay. Score predictions, you two.
I put United win. I don't think it's going to be a 3-0 whitewash. I think it's going to be a close game either way, whether it would be Arsenal beating us or us beating Arsenal.
What's your score predictions then?
2-1 United.
2-1.
2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal, okay. That's their predictions. We want to know yours in the comments below. Also, let us know about LVG, what your feelings on him. Should he have already been sacked? Should he be given more time? Let us know in the comments below. If you like the video, give it a like. Also, Spurs fans, get involved. Isn't it, Flav?
Yep.
Subscribe to the Ball Street channel and enjoy the other videos as well.
We've got that. We've clearly seen how you do it, but the fact is, it's a cup final. Completely different set of circumstances, completely different atmosphere, massive game, different pressures. Will the same things work? Now that